Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. This is our All Lives Matter call with Dr. Loyd and Dr. David for the new year. Happy New Year. Before we hear from them, we want to go ahead and share this disclaimer. This presentation is for education and informational purposes only. And since we're going to be talking about issues of health and well-being, we wanted to make sure that you understand this information is not intended to heal or cure anything. Everything in the presentation are the opinions of Alex Loyd, Dr. David Peck, myself, Johanna Jan, or if you choose to share. So you should always check with a licensed healthcare provider about any specific health concerns you may have. All right, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Johanna. I'm Alex Loyd. The good-looking guy in the middle is
David Peck.
David Peck, double board certified surgeon, and he is here out of really, truly, you've heard this expression, but I think it takes on new meaning. The goodness of his heart. He's here out of the goodness of his heart because he's not being paid anything, okay? He's here because he loves you and he wants to help you. That's why he's here. That's the only reason I know of he's here. So welcome. And what we are doing, we are on a mission to help a million to a billion people increase their emotional well-being by over 100% in 1 year or less. And we plan to provide you all the tools you need in order to do that. And each week we're discussing a different topic around emotional well-being and health, and then doing a custom healing process for that. And they are all posted. There are no upsells in any way, shape, form, or fashion. There is no way for me to make money from this. And that is the way we planned it, okay? So just wanted you to know that. Dr. David came up with a fantastic topic for today, systemic deprivation. Dave, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I could, no, go ahead, Alex. You know, I like listening to you talk so much.
I like listening to you talk. Okay, so I'll start just with a little thumbnail and then I'll pass it to David. To me, systemic deprivation is any time we are forced, or let's say maybe even pushed, or possibly even just choose to live our life out of balance. You've heard of imbalance. I'm talking out of balance. We're either working too much and not getting enough rest. We're eating too much and not and our weight and nutrition of our body is going down instead of balancing what we eat and balancing how much we eat, when we eat, that sort of thing. The biggest one for me is relational out of balance, relational deprivation. When we do not have intimate, consistent contact and relationship with other people that we are in loving relationship with. And that will kill you faster than anything. You can eat all the right stuff. You can be in balance in every other way. But if you are out of balance relationally and isolated and lonely and all that sort of thing, that is the biggest out of balance for me, Dave, that exists. And it will, excuse the word, but it will screw up all your other balances if you keep going that way. Now, I'm not talking about a situation necessarily where you're old and a lot of your family is deceased now or live farther away or whatever. I mean, yeah, you're in that situation, but you can still interact with people. You always can. And it's easier to do today than it's ever been because of the internet. There are really good. I mean, I know there's blogs and stuff that everyone should stay away from, okay? Granted, and there's thousands of them. but there's also a lot of blogs by really good, wonderful people who think the way we think and are talking about things that we're talking about, who have blogs and sites and stuff like that, that are specifically for people that are lonely and need a friend online if it needs to be online. Okay. So I don't really see any excuse for that today, except you can have all the friends in the world and have one really big, important relationship to you that is in conflict, and it will mess up everything else. So if you have an important relationship that's in conflict, there's no substitute to doing what you can to get that resolved and back in balance. But to me, systemic deprivation means you're out of balance in some area. Dave, what I'll pass to you.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, because as I was preparing for this, I was thinking, my own experience is that, like, there's so many ways that I've been depriving myself, but the one that really stands out is just that the whole mentality of study. This was like, beaten into us growing up. My parents came from, difficult situation, and et cetera. So, I mean, you just have to deprive yourself about just about everything else. You just always have to study, and it's always about sacrifice and suffering. But the thing that really struck me, because the first word you said, and this is what was balance, because that's exactly what it was, like totally out of balance.
Yeah.
You'd be doing this and doing that and running around, and and just a lot of stress, really stressful too. So
hey, can I interrupt 1 second?
Yeah, no, please.
I just thought of something. Ever since I started doing this stuff, I've talked about balance. Okay. And it's everywhere on the internet and in real life. It's everywhere. But typically the way we think of it is that we're doing too much of something. You've got drugs out of balance. You've got, something else that you're doing too much, watching too much TV or whatever. But a critical point here, David, is that there's another side to out of balance, and that is pleasure. That is things that bring you pleasure, things that you're passionate about, things that you love to do, whether it's go ride a bicycle or carve on a piece of wood or read a book about history or whatever. And let me tell you, if you deprive yourself of all these things that are enjoyable to you and that you're passionate about for the hard stuff of life, work, study, cleaning, cooking, if all you do are kind of the hard things of life, man, you are going to find yourself beaten down at an early age. Okay. Because we're not meant to live that way. We're meant to work and rest, to have hard things and pleasurable things, both. So some people think, because they kind of lean toward that perfectionistic thing, that, man, if I just work harder than everybody else, then I'm going to get to work. No, that may be the thing that kills you. You may need to chill out and relax some in order to get to where you want to get. You may be pushing too hard. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring up that I've talked forever about that out of balance, meaning, okay, you're doing too much drugs or too much food or too much of this kind of food or whatever. But there's another side that's not enough pleasure and things that bring you enjoyment and beauty, art, music, things like that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's beautiful. So here's a question that's running in my mind, because with this, does deprivation, because okay, I see the deprivation two different forms. One is a self-hating, depriving myself of this and that, and the other one is coming from externally, where someone is exerting. And I looked up the state of be kept from possessing, enjoying, or using something that is needed, the
Mm-hmm.
deprivation. So those forces that externally deprive us for one reason or another, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, it's through basically unhealthy control mechanisms, right? It's going to be
Right.
through manipulation or bullying or that kind of dogmatism. My question is this: does deprivation lead naturally then to like obsession?
It leads to habits and addiction. And I'll give you a really quick example that really you can't argue with. Everywhere these days you hear advertisements for the lottery. Well, I don't know about where you live, but in Tennessee, with every lottery commercial you hear, at the end, they talk about if you have a problem with the lottery, meaning you're taking money your family needs for basic necessities and playing the lottery with it. So they're saying if you have a problem with money, call this hotline number. Okay. And lately sports betting has gotten huge and is available in most states now where it hasn't been available. It's been illegal in most states. Now it's legal in most states. And at the end of every one of those, David, commercials, you'll hear, if you have a problem with gambling or have a friend that has a problem with gambling, call 800 blah, 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 blah to the gambling hotline. So yes, you're exactly right. Areas where either we deprive ourselves or we're deprived by some external force, it tends to lead to habits and addictions every single time, unless they're checked at some point. But typically when we start on those things, we do, if we like them, we don't do less. We just do more and more and more and more until we're in a habit or addiction. And then in almost a panic, we try to get hold of it. Well, before you get to that habit or addiction, before it gets to panic, try to get those different areas of your life in balance now before you end up lying on your back in an ambulance or alone at home feeling like you have a wasted life or something. Okay. Get in balance. An ancient manuscript says that the devil, who or whatever the devil might be, that the way he is looking for people to attack is he's looking for people who are out of balance, which would mean deprivation. So even if you want to go to the religious and spiritual, ancient documents say you are in the most danger when you are in a state of deprivation or out of balance. That's when you're most vulnerable to any number of health, emotional, or other problems.
So if I'm in a state of deprivation, then so is a solution basically is to not be deprived in a way, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, not deprive myself of something that whatever.
There's a wonderful famous poem from I think it's like hundreds of years ago, David, and I don't remember exactly, and I don't remember the author. I need to go back and find it. But anyway, it basically says, if you've only got $1 left, use part of it, 50 cents or something, to buy yourself a piece of bread. Use the other 50 cents to buy yourself a flower for your heart, soul, or spirit. And I believe that. I believe beauty, art, music, things that we're passionate about, things that we love, important relationships, man, those things are just as important, or if not more so, than how much money you make, where you live, even your physical health, because those are the things that drive physical health. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
All right, you want to do process?
Okay, sure. Okay.
I mean, add something if you have something else.
I think that was basically it. Okay.
So Dave, I would tell people who find this recording or who are doing this today, look at the areas of your life where you're struggling. Chances are there's going to be a detail of that area of your life that's out of balance. Use this code to kind of heal the underlying of that, and then start choosing balance. You may have a really hard time just choosing balance now because you're so out of balance. So the code is supposed to do the work on that, to get you from not being able to choose balance to being able to choose balance. So use the code for that, and then start choosing balance in that area, whatever it is. And then if it backs up on you again, do the code again and start choosing it again until you're doing it, and stay on that path.
Great. Okay. Can you do the process?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's start with a custom healing code for systemic deprivation, being out of balance in a way that may lead to negative habits and addictions. All right. Let's start with left hand temple, right hand jaw. Left hand temple, right hand jaw. Slow, deep breaths from your stomach. Don't try to make anything happen. If anything, back away and allow your body, mind, and spirit to heal this. They know exactly how to do it and can do it literally in moments, not even days or weeks. Slow, deep breaths and relax. Left hand jaw, right hand bridge.
This is proof that achieving health and balance doesn't have to cost anything.
Yes, amen. Right. But the problem with that, Dave, what we don't pay for, we tend to not value.
Yeah, right.
So you got to get by that hurdle. Both hands bridge. Both hands bridge. I think you're on temples, Dave.
Oh, bridge, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I lost my train of thought. I was thinking times are changing. So I think we're moving into the age where, I don't know, the motivation, the money motivation is going to change, I believe, where that's not going to be, at the top of our minds anymore as the deprivation goes away, and we're not deprived.
I sure hope so. I like the Star Trek thing where they don't even have money anymore. Left hand Adam's apple, right hand jaw. Yeah, there's enough food in the world for everybody. There's enough water in the world for everybody. There's enough resources in the world for everybody. How come we have poor people who are starving? Because some of us are selfish.
Right. And the other big one that I won't mention.
Yes, that too.
That's driving everything, it seems.
That's right.
Let's take the deprivation away from that. So
yes, let's
all be fulfilled, right?
Left hand Adam's apple, right hand bridge. By the way, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I missed you guys. Glad to be back. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And by the way, you don't have to be quiet and meditative when you do these. I do about an hour a day in a meditative situation, and then another couple hours a day watching TV with my family or playing a game or something, reading. It absolutely works.
I do it every morning. I go through the trilogy and all 12, 9 categories basically. But it's like you say, it's like brushing my teeth now, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's reverse that. Left hand bridge, right hand Adam's apple. And then last one, both hands bridge. Okay, now let's go to custom acupuncture points. Let's start with side of the hand. Temples, just 4 or 5 taps each spot. Under the nose. Index finger. Collarbones. Temples again. Middle finger. Under the arms. Thumb. Middle of the chest. Index finger. Middle finger. Sore spot. Under the eyes. Under the nipples. Chin. 9G. Eyes open, close, open, eyes down to the left, down to the right. Circle your eyes, circle back the other way. 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Now let's activate governing and conception vessel 4 times in a row, please. 4 times. If it hurts, you're pushing too hard. And if you don't know how to do what we're doing, there should be posted on this site somewhere a link that takes you free to the instructions on how to do what we're doing. And I think that's where it's posted on YouTube. Maybe, yeah, I think that's where it's posted on YouTube. The instructions are under that on something you click on. Okay, now custom healing centers. Let's start with forehead. Please open and harmonize. If it hurts, you're massaging too hard. Throat, please open and harmonize. Base or root on the pubic bone, please open and harmonize. Crown, please open and harmonize. Heart, please open and harmonize. Under the belly button, please open and harmonize. Middle of the stomach, please open and harmonize. Okay, now let's go next section to left hand, forehead, right hand, brainstem. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. By the way, you can do any of these longer. You can do the acupuncture points twice in a row. Just push pause on the recording. Do it again, and then go back with the rest of it. All of these positions have been tested individually, some of them over the last thousands of years, and all of them found to work. But when you do them together in this order, they magnify each other. That's why we're doing this. And really, every one of the sections addresses the issues from a different angle. So they not only magnify each other, they all fill in the blanks that the others have when you do it together. Okay, both hands over the heart. Slow, deep breaths, one after the other. Let the code process. I forgot to tell you to rate that deprivation issue before we started. I would do that as a matter of course, but I would see where it is now, 0 to 10, and then again in 30 minutes, because it should be better in 30 minutes than it is now. So, Johanna,
You forget to tell them every week.
I forget every week. Yes, I do. I forget every week. So, Susan Glenn or somebody who's here, April, one of you needs to remind me each time. Tell them to rate it. Sorry about that. Okay. Johanna, if we have questions or comments, I've got 4 minutes here.
Okay, Susan, if you want to unmute.
Yes, hello guys. Thank you so much for what you do, and the start of a new year is so exciting. Dr. Alex, I hope this clears it up for you, the links for learning how to do the universal code and the hand positions of healing codes 1 and healing codes 2 is underneath the window every single week.
Right.
On your thing. Then there's the trilogy one as well, so people can never miss out on that. It's always underneath the window of whatever is the theme for that particular All Lives Matter trilogy.
Thank you so much. I didn't know that, but that's great to know. Thank you.
It just helps.
And Marilyn, is this Susan talking?
Yes, yes, Susan.
Susan, Susan, you're in Australia, aren't you?
Yes, I sure am. Yeah, Dinkum Aussie, me.
Yeah, and the Australian Open tennis tournament's about to start, which is one of the big 4 tournaments of the year. I was a tennis player in my previous years.
Yeah, you've been very big on the sports in your life. Yeah, yes, I love tennis in Australia.
All right, thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome. It's under there, every single one of the ones you've done in All Lives Matter, so people don't have to worry about not being able to follow how to do it.
Great. Thank you.
She's got great insight. She's got good insights too. I remember one of the coaches called me. Yeah, anyway, it's nice to hear from Susan.
Okay, so we have Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Alex. Hello, David. Hello, Johanna.
Hey.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I mean, last year, All the Lives Matters, they just totally changed my life. And I'm looking forward to this year, and I just can't say thank you enough to you. I mean, I know it comes from God, but I appreciate that you took what he gave you and have done what you've done with it, and just want to say thank you.
Hey, the biggest thing about this to me, I promise you, is the man sitting next to me, that Dr. David would do this with me, being who he is in the medical profession. So thank you, Marilyn. I agree with you. And thank you, David, because we wouldn't be doing this if not for you.
Yeah. And I think the two of you together just work so well, and we just get so much from having both of you, contribute.
Well, that's because he went through food poisoning with me. And when you go through something like that with a friend, I think it makes you closer. But I actually flew to Philadelphia to meet him in person and got food poisoning on the way. And I called him and told him about it. And immediately he was driving to my hotel, bringing me stuff to help me feel better. I mean, and the hotel was not close to his house at all. So that's the kind of man he is.
Well, I just have to say that it's a blessing. Honestly, it's a blessing to have this opportunity. Really.
Me too. For me too.
You know.
And Johanna, I apologize. I have to go, but
Okay.
I love you all. Thank you so much.
Love you too,
Thanks so
Alex.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, so April, also, you want to share anything? You want to go ahead and unmute your line?
Am I unmuted? You there?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Hey, so happy new year. So a couple of things. So this is how I pitch it to my friends. I used to pay hundreds of dollars to do those calls way back, I don't know, 2018 or something like that. So I pitch it as, oh my gosh, these are free now. So don't change that. And I enjoy listening to you guys every week. So this is amazing that you guys are doing it for free. So I appreciate the value because I used to have to pay for
Yeah.
the calls. But a couple of good things. So I have a sleep number bed. My sleep has changed. My average has changed 2 points. My breath rate has changed 2 points for the better. All these things are for the better. And my heart rate has changed by 2 points in the last month that I've been doing them 3 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've
Is
been
that a
doing them 3
lot?
times.
2 points, is that a lot?
Well, it is for me. Yeah. So yeah, that's a big jump.
I mean, just
that's
generally, like, I'm not familiar with the scale that you're using, but
yeah. So the
that-
scale that they use is so it tracks my heart rate and my breath rate at night. So if
Yeah.
my breath rate was a 16 before, it's down to a 14.
oh, I
So
see,
that's
I see.
so for the
Yeah.
better is what I'm saying. It's changed
Yeah.
for the better.
Yeah.
So, and I've been kind of testing different things. So if I don't do the healing codes before I go to sleep, I don't sleep as well. I'm more restless throughout the night. But when I do the
Wow.
healing codes, I sleep like a baby. So I still have some other issues that I look at with that. But anyways, I just want to let you guys know they are working.
Yeah, no, that's so, thank you so much for saying that. And that just actually brings to mind, that would be a great way to study the effects, because
Mhm.
obviously when you're sleeping you can't like fake it or anything like that. So I don't know, we maybe
Yeah,
should try to mention it to
exactly. You
Alex
can't.
and try to
Yeah.
good.
So I also like to use the Chinese calendar. So like the Chinese health calendar. So like your lungs are your grieving point in Chinese medicine. So in Chinese medicine, I was waking up at 3:30 every morning at 3:30. I was restless, the most restless, because I have a lot of grief issues. But I can look at my Chinese calendar and see what organ is affected by that hour that I'm restless. And I can start working on those to heal those issues. I'm going to tell you, the last week, I've not had grief issues of restlessness
Wow.
at that hour for the Chinese thing that they do. So yeah, so I kind of play around with it that way, and I don't know, it's working for me. So thank you guys. And if that helps anybody else, if they have a sleep number bed, kind of look at that and see if they notice a difference when they're doing it at night before going to sleep as well. It's amazing. It really
Thank
truly
you.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've totally been testing it in different ways, and yeah, if I meditate and do them right before I go to sleep, I sleep much better and I'm less restless.
Yeah.
So it's working.
That's cool. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, April.
Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
someone should do a clinical trial with that, Johanna. Get some beds, and then the objective data, and anyway.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another caller. Her name is Beth. You want to unmute your line, Beth?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
sure.
I would like a custom code and just a regular one.
Okay, just a moment. Let me go ahead and stop the recording because we don't want to
You have an
necessarily
issue
put that out there.
you want to
Yeah.
work on?
Okay, so